I still remember quite vividly that the old chauffeur of ours, who was then about 60 or 65 years of age and lived or worked in our household some 5 decades or some 50 years ago, expressed his disappointment, even despair, about the change of climate. He was neither well educated, comparing to a large population of the world, neither did he come from any well-known family. He was considerably a very simple-minded person, as most people would think. He hardly visited any school in his entire life. But he observed and expressed his despair, his disappointment about the change of weather. I remember he mentioned that during his childhood, the springs as well as the autumns used to be much cooler, even in this tropical country of ours. He even said, being a person well acquainted with the aquatic life of various types of marine species, that he discovered the decline of their population and activities, even in the rivers and in other places, including the rivulet or the narrow river in which he used to bathe on a regular basis. I find it considerably hard to believe that a person of his ability and understanding could already observe facts which could have either overlooked or disregarded by various individuals of great knowledge, skill, indeed, of power. The power which enabled them to maintain their leaderships in the world. Some 5 decades have gone by, and we see the devastating situations occurring in various parts of the world. The bushfire, which began even a number of years ago in various parts of the world, including California of the United States of America, Australia, Western or Southern Western Europe, and in various other parts of the world. The drought faced by various Oriental countries, while devastating floods taking place in other parts. Even the very recent flooding caused by torrential showers a few weeks ago in Western Europe, in India, and in China, but no doubt the most recent incidences occurring by devastating cyclonic weather in the state of Louisiana of the United States of America, followed by the flooding situation in New York, New Jersey, and in other parts of the world, on other continents, in other countries. I fail to understand how our global leaders disregarded the warnings given by various scientists, by experts on natural environmental studies, by scholars. Even those who predicted that such grievous situations were to follow if the world did not take sufficient precautions in preventing such situations. Yes, the word precaution becomes decisive in the current situation and the situations occurring in the recent past, even during the past few years. The word precaution, the noun precaution, not post-caution. Wisdom after events becomes meaningless for all practical purposes, because it is the precaution which ought to be taken before the incidences occur. Blaming a certain scientific instrument is no excuse in our world. Many people predicted such incidences long before such sophisticated devices were discovered, planted, and put in action. Some 3 decades ago, it was known that certain harmful substances were causing holes in the so-called ozones, or in the ozone, which is supposed to protect us against the dangerous rays exposed by the sun. When those rays cannot be prevented by ozones because of our folly, if I may use the expression, with all due regrets and shame on my own part, the very harmful rays exhausted by the solar part, including the sun itself, is likely to cause danger to the species and of course, even the other living beings on our earth, including those belonging to the plant kingdom. And most certainly, in turn, such incidences are bound to affect the animal kingdom as a whole. Referring to the Holy Bible or the Torah, and if I may use the expression with all due respect, in the modern translation known as the Book of Genesis, the very first chapter, chapter 1, verse 31 of the modern translation, we see that our Creator, having created his creation, pronounced them to be very good. On the very 6th day of his creation, or in the evening of the completion of his creation, he declared his creation to be very good. He entrusted us with his creation. But are we truly protecting it? I venture to sigh and add, I cannot believe that to be true. For decades, if not for centuries, we have been exploiting our atmosphere by various means, by fossil energy gases, or also called greenhouse gases, and of course by various other means. If we do not still take precaution to prevent even far greater catastrophes in the world, who will do so, is a question I ask my own self, while extending my most respectful regards towards others, even towards you, my most beloved, dear, and respected friends and respected viewers of this live telecasting of mine. I mentioned this earlier, that not long ago, Sir David Attenborough, whose work I admire wholeheartedly, mentioned about his witnessing chunks of ice breaking apart on the poles and falling into the ocean, forming icebergs, endangering the fleet and various other types of oceanic transportation, while not disregarding the fact that such incidents are likely, in fact, almost certain, to affect the marine life as a whole, and also the territorial lives of various species of the animal kingdom, and in turn and in chain, affecting all of us, even human beings, whom our Creator entrusted to preserve his creation, or entrusted with the preservation of his creation. When are we going to wake up? When are we going to take precaution? A young lady, if I'm not wrong, her name is Miss Greta Thunberg, a Swedish citizen, a citizen of the Kingdom of Sweden, took great initiatives to draw our attention to all such situations which were about to befall. We disregarded her warnings. She is perhaps not the most affected person, but if we had heeded to her warnings, and the warnings of Sir David Attenborough, sitting in a telecasting interview with His Britannic Highness Prince William, the Duke of Cambridge, and various other scientists of the world, we could have prevented such occurrences taking place today. Alas, we often take post-caution rather than precaution, even though we are considered to be the most intelligent species of the animal kingdom as a whole. Even the ones created in the image of our own Creator, the infallible one, God the Almighty, who according to the Torah and the Holy Bible created us in his own image. If we do not attempt, even do our level best, and everything reasonable in protection of his creation, we dishonor him because he is the creator of all things in the universe and beyond. This is a question I asked myself, whether we are fit to be called the most superior being in the animal kingdom, or even we are worthy to be the very image of our Creator, because according to his holy laws given through the Torah or the Holy Bible, we were created in his own image. And he breathed into our nostrils the breath of his own life. What are we going to answer to our fellow global citizens of the world who are so badly affected by our own folly? And what will we answer our Creator on the day when we meet him? A question or questions I'm obliged to ask my own self and all those who believe in the good, even the good created by our Creator himself. I thank you for your kind understanding, your kind forbearance, and for your kindness in viewing this telecasting, this live telecasting of mine, or even the video recording of the same at your own convenience. Wishing you the very protection of the same Creator who created all of us, I remain most humbly at your service, bidding you a restful night from my country, where it is long past midnight of September the 3rd of the Gregorian year 2021. And it is already the early dawn of Friday here in my country.